Given the recent progress in interventional EUS, now is an opportune time to look back at the history of EUS to see how we got to where we are. Jean DiMagno from the Mayo Clinic is credited with originating the concept of endoscopic ultrasound, but it was the Olympus Corporation that pursued this idea and was the first to bring the technology to market in the form of a mechanical radial echo endoscope. The first clinical use began in the early 1980s, and the early epicenters for its evaluation and clinical application were in Munich and Amsterdam. Mike Sivak from the Cleveland Clinic was the first to adopt EUS in the United States, followed by Charlie Lightdale in New York. In the late 1980s, Olympus America wanted to support the wider adoption of EUS. To accomplish this, they chose 5 academic centers with particular interest in EUS. This group was called the EUS Users Group. With the support of Olympus, the group was responsible for teaching early adopters of EUS, as well as evaluating new prototypes. This was a very effective mechanism for disseminating EUS and was later applied to the market in India. In the early 1990s, Peter Vilmon, using a Pentax linear array echo endoscope, is credited with performing the first EUS-guided FNA. Our group at Indiana University and Ken Chang at UC Irvine are credited with performing the first EUS FNA in the United States. The application of FNA propelled a wider application of EUS and dominated research over the next 15 years. The first interventional EUS was EUS-guided pseudocyst drainage, performed in Nib Sahendra's unit in Hamburg, Germany, and published in 1992. Over the course of the next 15 years, most currently applied EUS interventions were developed, but integration into clinical practice was slow. Beginning in 1982, Olympus sponsored a biannual meeting dedicated to EUS. These meetings proved to be critical in the development of EUS because it brought together leading endosonographers from around the world and provided a forum for exchange of ideas. The 2008 meeting was held in San Francisco and was dedicated solely to linear array endosonography. Prior to the meeting, a working group gathered to assess the state-of-the-art of interventional EUS and provide a roadmap for device development and research, especially randomized trials that would promote greater clinical adoption of these techniques. The meeting proceedings were published in a supplement of gastrointestinal endoscopy in January of 2009, and the meeting and subsequent publication should be credited with accelerating the development of interventional EUS. In response to the working group recommendations, the first randomized trial in interventional EUS was conducted in 2008 by Shyam Varadarajulu from UAB, which compared EUS and standard endoscopy for the drainage of pseudocysts. There are now many high-quality studies that have proven the value of interventional EUS for multiple indications. In the late 2000s, Olympus introduced a pioneering concept in an EUS processor, the EU-ME1. The processor was compact and could be easily incorporated into the endoscopy cart, providing a seamless transition between EUS and standard endoscopy. The processor had all of the basic functions commonly used during an EUS examination, but was also capable of supporting unique Olympus technologies such as the mini probe. In the mid-2010s, Olympus unveiled their next generation system, the EU-ME2. Image quality, Doppler functions, and ergonomics were improved, and harmonic echo and elastography were added. The EU-ME systems proved to be important innovations as their development coincided with a rapidly growing field of therapeutic EUS. With this system, EUS could be seamlessly integrated with standard endoscopy and fluoroscopy to support all therapeutic EUS procedures. Now, Olympus is introducing their newest addition in the series, the EU-ME3. With this system, there is a quantum leap in image quality, as well as the addition of multiple advanced imaging technologies. the EU-ME3 can stand alone as a high-end EUS processor, while at the same time playing a critical role in the future development of therapeutic EUS. By 2008, EUS had become a standard, well-established endoscopic technique in many countries. However, some countries were still significantly behind in adopting the technology. India was a prime example. In 2008, India had only 5 units, despite significant economic progress. Shyambaradara conceived of the idea to resurrect the original EUS users group concept and collaborated with Olympus to develop a strategy to train a core group of endoscopists who could then go on to train other Indian gastroenterologists, thus creating a sustainable system to advance EUS in India. This effort culminated with Olympus choosing Chennai to host their biannual meeting in 2014. 750 delegates from 67 countries attended. There are now nearly 600 EUS installations in India. A new generation of endoscopists in India have seized the opportunity and are now contributing regularly to the advancement of EUS through educational courses, demonstrations, and publications. From its inception, the development and iteration of EUS has required close cooperation between endoscope and ultrasound companies. As EUS has expanded and become a more influential part of gastrointestinal endoscopy, those relationships have evolved as well. Recently, there's been a significant shift in partnerships between endoscope and ultrasound manufacturers. These new relationships undoubtedly indicate the strategic importance of EUS in gastrointestinal endoscopy and will serve to accelerate future development. Olympus has begun a partnership with Canon to develop their next generation of high-end ultrasound processors. The first processor to be developed is the Aplio. Advanced features include contrast-enhanced imaging, shear wave and strain elastography, and microvascular imaging. This high-end processor will fully support the next generation of Olympus ultrasound endoscopes. The history of EUS is interesting because it captivated a generation of young endoscopists who followed the golden era of ERCP. And just as ERCP evolved from diagnostic to therapeutic, EUS is evolving in a similar way. The benefit of knowing history is to avoid redundancy in research and to avoid past mistakes in clinical care. The future of EUS is bright.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kurt Hine. I'm the General Manager for the GI and Endoscopic Ultrasound business at Olympus Corporation. And I wanted to thank Dr. Hawes and Dr. Varadara-Julu for allowing us to be here today to talk to you about some key innovations in the area of endoscopic ultrasound. And specifically thank Dr. Hawes for this wonderful video featuring the innovation cycle in this very important space within endoscopic ultrasound. While companies like Olympus and others pioneered the technology, it really took early adopters like Dr. Hawes and Dr. Varadara-Julu to adopt, help innovate, and bring it to the place where it is today, where it helps patients across the world every single day. So today we're going to have an opportunity to hear from a couple of physicians who are going to speak to further innovation in the areas of endoscopic ultrasound. And I will have them come up with Dr. Hawes in just a moment. But first, let me take a moment to introduce them. The first speaker is Professor Takao Itoi from Tokyo Medical University, who is the department and chair of Advanced Interventional Endoscopy and Therapeutic ERCP, Hepatology. And then we'll hear from Professor Stefan Siewald from the Hirslanden Clinic and partner in Zurich, Switzerland. Professor Itoi will speak first on the long-awaited EU-ME3, as Rob had spoken about in the video. And then Professor Siewald will talk about the Arietta A50 and the new partnership with the Canon Medical Group with the Aplio I800. So without further ado, I'd like to bring up Dr. Hawes and start with Professor Itoi. Thank you.
So
It's a pleasure to welcome Takao to the podium. He's really a dear friend and just such a wonderful person, as well as a skilled endoscopist. We've asked him to talk about the impact of the new generation processor on diagnostic and interventional EUS, the EUME3. Welcome, Takao.
Thank you, good friend Rob. So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my great pleasure to be here and to be back here. Thank you for kind invitation me annually. So, first of all, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to Shyam, Rob, and the organizing committee for giving me this wonderful chance. In this session, I will talk on the new generation processor, the EUME3. So this is COI. So you know the EUME3 just launched in United States, right? Just launched. So already, so we have for this kind of box type processor, like EUME3. Of these, three of them is ME3, and one is EUME2. So we perform daily clinical US procedure, we feel the ME3 is a very, very nice, fantastic processor comparing to the EUME3. So why? That's because the image is so fantastic, and the other there's other some function. So let me introduce from now on this fantastic processor. So you know, as a background, nowadays EUS is essential not only for diagnosis, including tissue diagnosis, cytologic diagnosis, but also the treatment, so-called interventional EUS, in patients with GI tract and pancreatic diseases. So there are some several improvements in this area, in particular in EUS EUME3. One, first visualization. You know, the high resolution imaging with new modalities and as a S focus. And second, functionality. The variety of technology available, supporting a range of the procedures. So later, I will talk. And third, operability, the user-friendly keyboard, operation, and the customized user setting. And the fourth, versatility. This EUME3 includes not only conventional EUS, but also miniature probe or EBAS, the lung procedure. So let's see the high resolution image. How nice in this area. The clear, very clear visualization. It provides image quality and functionality comparable to a high-end ultrasound system in a very compact body. So high-resolution imaging and display that promotes clear visualization brings the real clarity to the EUS procedure. So let's compare the EUME2. So many years ago, we have two EUME2 the box type processor, and the B mode quite different. So nice, and the color Doppler both yes. And the focal point, you know, the console type usually the autofocus system, but so ME2 nothing. But this time, so S focus, like autofocus system equipped, and the power Doppler both yes, and high flow yes, and the pulse wave Doppler yes also, enhanced yes. So and the mechanical scan, the US probe, miniature probe, yes. Anyway, so as you can see, basic function, it is very important point. B-mode images, the quality is very nice. Let's see the improving the ME2 versus ME3. Look, so how nice, so you can understand, maybe the real imaging is quite different with just this stop imaging. But even though you can see relatively nice image, fine imaging comparing with ME2, relatively rough image here, but very fine. Fine image is, shows clear mass detection, or even the far portion, even far portion here, you can see very nice depiction comparing it to the ME2. So let's see the autofocus system. Autofocus system is like this. As you can see, it's like a console or processor. So from the near portion to far portion, very clearly each portion the autofocus. This is also the very important point. No change to any this kind of the point. So manual focus, so we have to adjust. So to the each cases, but autofocus no more change. So very nice, very easy. And so low echo reduction system, sometimes the near area too noisy and the artifact happens. But so this low echo reduction function is very nice. Dark shows very dark or echoic area. And also, tissue harmonic echo mode is quite different. As you can see, very rough and very fine. Also, even like a tumor region, very clearly depiction that we can get. So let's see the UU219 and plus UME2 versus ME3. So you can see rough image, fine image. Let's see actual movie. This is a common ME2. Many years ago, not so complicated, not so comfortable, but so no choice. We use usually this ME2, but now we use ME3. So if so, we cannot back to the ME2 anymore. Very fine image, right? Also, Doppler model is a common, as well as ME2. So this function is very nice and common as a common Doppler mode as for the vascular diagnostics. So another function, good function, is a tailored technology. Tailored technologies are good for the not only patient but also the endoscopist. And the EUME3 offers multiple software options to meet clinical needs for EUS and so shared EBAS procedure. And select and add the desired function according to the individual preference. So available, so great function, shear wave quantification. So I love this function very much. In the liver field, hepatologist is very common to use this function, shear wave quantification. And also, elastography is common from many years ago. But in this pancreatic area, so not so reliable comparing to the hepatology area. But so more sophisticated elastography, so ME3 includes. And contrast harmonic echo also nice, as well as the conventional B mode. Let's see in the USA setting, United States setting, there's 4 types, ME2 and ME2 Premier Plus, similar to ME3. And it's so simple ME3 and EU ME3 XT. In our unit, we have these 3 ME3 XT. So looking at the function, so almost perfect, similar to the console type Priel or type function. So let's see contrast tissue harmonic echo mode. So we can use contrast medium, contrast agent for the contrast enhanced EOS in Japan. That's why this is a very important function. So contrast tissue harmonic echo receives a broadband signal from the contrast agent and simultaneously displayed dedicated tissue harmonic echo mode image and the contrast enhanced echo image from the tissue. So quite different image, and if you have chance to use this contrast function, I guess you feel so nice comparing to the EUM2. So another function, elastography. Elastography is, as I mentioned, so many years ago, not reliable, but so relatively improved. Slightly reliability. So EME2, EME3, very stable comparing to the ME2. And also, EME2 sometimes like this disappear and appear. But so, ME3 is very nice. And the strain histogram ratio is one of the reliable histogram evaluation for the hardness of the tissue. You can see, UM3 can display the frequency distribution graph for strain in the specified area. Also, shear wave quantification is so nice. But so, one thing is concerned, because apart from liver, pancreas is small. So, if we use this shear wave quantification, this function, relatively we need longitudinal the length of the pancreas. That's why, so mostly sometimes genu position is very to measure this shear wave. Of course, finally, simplified to use is very important for endoscopists. So easy to use keyboard, big 9-inch LCD touch panel display like the TV game, video game, and the keyboard trackpad designed for improved operability over conventional trackball design. Trackball is sometimes dirty and disinfection. It is very important thing, and the finally full flat panel allowing the easy cleaning and disinfection. Like this, quite change, very nice, easy to use, usability, and the trackpad. So if you use regular EUS, the rotation is very easy by your hand. And so magnify or small change of the image is easy to the two fingers. So which is better, box or console type? Maybe later we will talk in the discussion, right? And in my personal opinion, so far EUME3 is very improving, and the box type, as a box type, it is very nice, and it's enough for daily clinical US procedure, I guess. Because you know we have only small endoscopic unit in Japan. That's why this type console, not console, but box type processor is very useful to have a lot of other space. So finally, I'd like to show one case, only one case, interventional EUS. This case is guided hepatic abscess drainage case. CAT scan shows infected myeloma in the right lobe of the liver, very very far position. And after the transcatheter arterial chemoembolization case, very big abscess. And firstly, we tried to perform transpapillary nasobiliary drainage, but didn't work well. That's why we tried use-guided hepatic abscess drainage. You can see this is range 8, but clearly you can see abscess here. Maybe EUME2 we couldn't get this fine image, very far position from the probe. Also 19 gauge needle puncture. So you can see very nicely the tip of needle up to 8 cm. And finally, the guide wire insertion, very easy. And after tract direction, drainage tube was placed. Okay, so you can understand how nice EUME3 is. So I want talk about that after this, after in the discussion. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Takao. And now I'm going to ask Stefan Siewald to talk about the high-end processors from Fuji and from Olympus, the Arietta 850 and the Canon Aplio i800. So the other end of the choices for EUS processors. Stefan, welcome.
Thank you, Rob. Rob and Chaim, first I would like to thank you for the invitation to this outstanding meeting. It is a great honor for me, and I'm blessed to be 3 days part of this wonderful team. Thank you very much. I would like to discuss with you now the impact of the new generation processors. And I can tell you from the beginning, as well the Fuji Arietta 850 system, as well as the Canon Aplio A800 system, provide outstanding technology for diagnostic and interventional EUS. And I would like to go with you through some important features. So what we can note is that both systems, both processors, try to optimize the penetration and the resolution. Second, there is a very impressive new advanced Doppler function, which is able to visualize low flow in small vessels without motion artifacts. Both systems are able to provide contrast harmonic imaging, and one big issue is elastography, and in particular the quantification of elastography. Another point is that this Apleo system is able to perform a fibroscan of the liver. This function is not available in Europe yet, but the Apleo system has a technology to generate EOS 3D images and also EOS panoramic view images. Let me focus now first on the B mode. The Arietta system has a manual optimization. That means if you want to improve your B mode, you can manually adjust several imaging parameters. In contrast, the Apleo system has an exciting new technology with the so-called quick scan, Q-scan. This is a special reduction filter which makes the image more smooth, clean, and better defined. And in combination with the persistence, with the noise reduction filter, you can get again a better improvement for the image, and this is especially done for the imaging of the pancreas. I would like to demonstrate you this. This is the pancreas without Q-scan. The picture is a little bit noisy. Now we switch to Q-scan, and now you will notice that the image is softer, is more clean, and it is more defined. And now we are combining this Q-scan with this precision filter, and now you have this specific image for the assessment of the pancreas. And the image here is a little bit dark. In reality, it is a bit brighter. But what I can mention is that this function, the Q-scan, should be used for the assessment of the pancreas, especially for still anatomy. When you are performing an EOS FNA, you should not use this, because then you need more contrast and you should switch off the Q-scan. Another technology which provides the Arietta system is the high-definition THI, and you can notice here this is a lesion in the pancreatic corpus. This lesion is not so close to the transducer, but with this high-definition THI, you have an enhanced spatial resolution. So the image is better, and also the resolution is quite better. The Apleo system provides now the technology of differential tissue harmonic imaging, and this is based on a dual frequency technology. And you can notice here this is the same patient. There is again an improved penetration while keeping the excellent resolution. And when we focus on this lesion, you may appreciate here that this area we can better visualize with this differential tissue harmonic imaging, and the penetration, especially in this area, is also quite better. Let me come now to the exciting technology of the advanced Doppler. You could see this already today in the live demonstrations. This is a specific Doppler for low flow in the smallest vessels without motion artifacts. It is in the Arietta system available by the detective flow imaging, DFI, and in the Apleo system it is called superb microvascular imaging. This is a patient with a pancreatic septated cysts. And you can nicely appreciate here, using this DFI, you can see that in the septum there are vessels. Same patient with the Apleo system and SMI Doppler. Also here you can nicely see that there are some significant vessels in this septum of this pancreatic cyst. This is this patient with a 5-centimeter lesion I've shown you before, and by using SMI we can nicely appreciate that there are not so much vessels in this tumor. And now there's a specific function, the so-called monochrome SMI. The B mode is extracted, and with this extraction of the B mode you can again better visualize the vascularity of this lesion. So in Europe, we are very often using contrast, and I think with the introduction of these filters, contrast is not in all cases anymore necessary to assess the vascularity of pancreatic lesions, and there are already studies comparing DFI with contrast harmonic EUS, demonstrating that DFI is almost as good as contrast-enhanced harmonic EUS. Before we are performing an EUS-FNA in such lesions, we always look that we don't puncture necrotic areas. We are looking for the vascular areas in order to perform FNI. And here is also an interesting function of this monochrome SMI. So we can perform a monochrome-assisted FNI, and you can appreciate on the right side that the tip of the needle is better visualized, even if you are not completely in the plane of the EUS. So that means sometimes you have the situation that you cannot see your needle, either you know you are in the lesion, and I don't want to say that you should use this for every EUS-FNA, but in specific cases this may help you. Let me come now to the point of elastography. So the Arietta system provides the strain elastography. This is the same lesion I have presented you before, and you may nicely see that there is the blue area shows that the tumor is harder than the environment of the pancreas. And this is the same case with the Apleo system strain elastography. Also here you can see that the tumor is harder than the other pancreas. Now we are coming to the quantification of elastography, and the Arietta system provides the point shear wave elastography. So a point shear wave is created which propagates through the targeted lesion, and then the system is able to measure the elasticity of this point area. In contrast to the Arietta system, the Apleo system provides the technology of the 2D shear wave elastography. 2D shear elastography means that we don't work with a point shear wave, but with a plane shear wave, so there is a larger area for the measurement. And when you have a look at the right side, this system is able to measure the propagated shear waves, and it can tell you if your measurement was proper. So in every case you get such a propagation map, and that means if the lines are continuous and if there is the same distance between the lines, that shows you that you have a proper measurement. And then on the right side you can see that the elasticity of this tumor can be measured, and in this case it shows nicely that the tumor is harder than the other pancreas. The Apleo system provides an interesting technology of EUS 3D images, and I would like to show you this. If this is clinical relevant, we cannot answer at the moment, but I think this is the field of further research. This is a patient with a cholangiocarcinoma of the distal CBD. It's about a 1 centimeter large lesion. And now you may see the longitudinal axis of this of the CBD with the tumor on the left side. And now we recorded this image, and now the system may produce these 3D images. So you can look now into the bile duct, and on the right side you see the lesion within the bile duct. And you can torque this image, you can cut in an area wherever you want. And now you can nicely see there, you see the wall of the bile duct, and on the right side you see the protrusion of the tumor. This system can also perform a so-called reverse smart 3D. That means that all structures which are filled with fluid can be shown as tubes. And we perform this in the same case. So this is now the inverse smart 3D. In the middle, you see this enlarged bile duct, and also on the right side, the pancreatic duct. And last but not least, not only in your iPhone, you can do panorama images. Also now you can make EOS panoramic view images. This is here the pancreatic body where we perform a panorama image. The future will also show for what indication we can use this. Maybe you can better see the delineation between a tumor and a vessel. So let me conclude. High definition THI of the Arietta system and differential tissue harmonic imaging with quick scan precision imaging from Aplio optimized diagnostic details in the B mode. Non-contrast microvascular imaging Dopplers such as DFA or SMI can approximate contrast harmonic EOS for vascular characterization, especially of pancreatic lesions. Microvascular imaging and elastography also help to select the best puncture site for tissue sampling. The monochrome SMI function may improve FNA, FNB needle visualization in specific situations. Smart 3D and panoramic view on Aplio supports lesion assessment, mapping, and margin evaluation. So Arietta 850 and Aplio E800 enhance diagnostic confidence and procedural safety in endoscopic ultrasound. And at the end of my presentation, I would like to invite you to our EndoSwiss meeting in Zurich. Zurich is far, but our meeting is also online, and all presentations and live demonstrations you can see at our YouTube channel. Thank you very much.